So when you see this video already for a week out there is my Foregone Destruction remix from Michael van de Bos. I hope I said this name correctly, but long story short, it's the famous Unreal Tournament soundtrack, if not the most famous track, Facing Worlds, Capture the Flag Map, Foregone Destruction. This is a classic because in my opinion it is really nailing the zeitgeist from this era of 1999, if not 2000s, where we were listening to atmospheric drum and bass, playing the first internet games, having flat rate or DSL connection already, or we met our friends on LAN parties because our mothers were carrying the CRT monitors because we were just small guys, right? And it demands some appreciation but also some modernization. So if I'm not wrong, the original file format is based on the impulse tracker format, just with the suffix ending of UMX, but in the end this format doesn't allow you many things. Just you're only having 16 tracks. You can play samples, even not back and forth, but just I think 4/4, or you can just loop it but not reverse it, for example. You can pan it to the left and to the right, but there are no effects like delay or anything else. You can't have any compressor effects, for example, on the master and so on. So just in a nutshell, I thought let's use all this technology that we have now 20 years later, or 24 years, 25 years later, quarter century almost, right? Make a proper track out of it so that we all love to listen to this on YouTube, and this is what I did. To be honest, after having this video released, it didn't really resonate with my viewers so much, so there are not really high viewer rates and so on, but in the end, mainly I was doing this for my own because I thought this track I appreciate it a lot, and so I thought let's see what I can get out of this track. Just recently, or was it 2 years ago already, I was releasing shorts video on YouTube where I was playing the Foregone Destruction track live on an NPC, pushing the buttons in live, and people are demanding this is not really in sync and so on. But the real interesting comment was there from one guy. He was saying, hey, why don't you extract the samples from the UMX file and go with that one? And I thought, that's interesting because that makes sense, and that's what I was trying. So let me explain you the story how I got from the UMX file from my original Unreal Tournament to my remix, and let me show you the steps what I did. So when I started my journey and doing some research how you can use these UMX files, the first thing I did was of course installing the game on a native PC, so I was able to launch it already. It's quite interesting that such an old game you can play without any problems on Windows. What was I using? Windows 10. But I was expecting something from the Unreal Tournament editor, so I tried to get this up and running, and yes, from there you can play the music and you can open the levels and so on. You cannot really open as direct samples or specific stems or tracks from this UMX file, so I had to use some other tools. There's a tool called xmodits, which is an open source tool. You can just get it, where is it, GitHub or SourceForge. You just open your UMX file in there and you can extract all samples in there. And of course, most obviously, you find the famous aim and break sample in there, besides some other very interesting samples. I think they are classics as well, just like the strings. Then I thought, okay, let's just take the original track and try to pimp it to its next level. But first, let's export some stems and try to import it to my current DAW. So another small research was I was coming up to openmpt, which is an open source tracker. So with openmpt you can open the UMX file, directly play it, and you get the exact same experience like if the game would play the music. With openmpt I was able to extract tracks, so having stems in our producer language. And the stems then I just could one-on-one copy paste to my DAW into Ableton Live. Just hit the play button and check this out how this sounds like. That's basically the whole track. So you have, in a nutshell, 16 tracks. Yeah, you see 17 because I also have a mix down just for as a reference in there. But basically 16 tracks. And yeah, here I have my famous color coding. So yellow equals to drums, and blue is everything that relates to melodies. Reddish is a bass line, and super dark red is the sub bass line. But what I can tell you already is Michael was switching the channels quite often, so he was really trying to compress things and maybe having his own logic, which maybe maybe I just couldn't get. So just an example, check this out. Here you have what is that? I call this the melody, and then there are strings, okay? And there are other examples where you have on the same track, you have here strings. I call this upper bass line. Okay, strings. And there are one or two other tracks where basically on the same track he's playing bass line and then switching to strings and so on. And that's okay, because in the tracker world, right, you don't really care. You don't have like on a mixer like special compression settings or special level settings, special equalizer or whatever. It's just playing the rough sample. So it's not like in our logic like having that drums and on this channel is just this one specific track. You can just easily switch things, right? But in summary, you see this is the one-on-one track. It sounds like the original. And this is how it looks like. So from there, I started to convert everything and arrange everything and cut all the parts and try to rearrange stuff. So this is version 1, and then let me just open version 2 of Free. This versions should sound exactly the same, but I was rearranging everything so that I have dedicated drum tracks, and I have dedicated melody tracks, and I have dedicated bassline tracks. And yes, I'm coming up here with a little bit more tracks, which is in summary 29 tracks. And I was trying also to put things together like strings on strings, hi-hats on hi-hats, etc. But I'm needing way more tracks to be able to play everything just with dedicated steps. Check this out. It should sound exactly the same. It's exactly the same track, but just rearranged in the way so that I can work with that. And from there I started my journey to improve the track. Let me open the final project, which is version number 3. And version number 3 just on the surface looks the same like version number 2, but I was adding here my current mixing skills. So mainly it's compression, it's distortion, it's equalizer, and yeah, on the lead main melody I was adding some extra delay and if not reverb. Let's check this out. Yeah, just because it's so awesome. But there are no extra voices, no extra synthesizers, no nothing. It's really just basically mixing. Let me show you the mastering. So there's not much ongoing. I was trying to keep the original sound just intact and don't add anything or any fanciness or boom boom bassline. If you played the game, you're not really used to just listen to the track one time, but rather like 2 or 3 times, or if not 20 times. So I didn't want to exceed this too much, but I was copy pasting the arrangement one time at least, so that's why the track is 8 minutes long rather than 4 or something minutes. I hope you appreciate the rework I did. Complete respect to the original track and to Michael, what he has done and achieved. And this is just really some fan work and some fan appreciation of this game, of this classic. I wanted to add my skills and knowledge, what I have right now from making music, and I hope you like it too. And talk to you soon. Bye.